Greetings to all. Every whispered word, persistent gaze, and hidden secret in the world of Sister Wives. A wildfire can start inside closed doors. But what if I told you that everything might be changed in a single instant, one conversation? What if I told you that a fact so significant that it might shatter allegiances, alter history, and expose the flaws in a family already on the verge of disintegration was poised to emerge in the secure confines of the house these women previously shared? Today, we reveal the invisible struggles as well as the smiles. And you're going to understand why. Due to the whispers, the question is not whether this family will disintegrate, but when have started. And those who are aware of the truth are no longer keeping quiet. It's nearly palpable. Like lightning in the air, the tension slithered across the room. With her hands quivering slightly as she folds them in her lap, Robyn sits rigidly, her gaze darting between Christine and Meri. The corner of Christine's mouth changes from a smile to a warning as she leans back with her arms crossed. Meri as well, despite her subdued demeanor, she never takes her eyes off Kody, perhaps challenging him to meet her gaze. Kody gets his throat, a tiny sound, but it's loud in this place. Although his voice starts out powerful, it has a hint of sharpness. He's talking about unity, loyalty, and the necessity of sticking together. However, everyone in the room is aware this has nothing to do with that. Unity is not the point here. It has to do with control. The fact that Robyn interrupts, something she doesn't often do when Kody is speaking, draws everyone's attention. She speaks quickly and concisely. According to her, things weren't handled properly. She claims to been kept in the dark. And the atmosphere becomes even colder when Christine lets out a low, harsh, and humorless laugh. Christine leans forward and speaks in a cool but cutting tone. "I'm done playing along," she says. That the choices Kody is making are for himself, not the family. Robyn writhes uneasily. Meri's gaze tenses. Kody becomes red in the face. And nobody blinks for the first time in a long time. Like he's chewing on something too unpleasant to swallow. Kody's jaw moves. For a split second, his eyes dart to Robyn, as though seeking consolation. However, Robyn is avoiding eye contact with him as she looks around the table with her white-knuckled fists gripping the wood. Christine is unflinching. She continues, "You keep repeating this is in the best interest of the family," with each word sounding well-considered and polished. However, Kody, the family is disintegrating completely, and the matches are in your hands. Meri breathes out slowly. It sounds nearly like laughter, but deprived of any warmth. It's the first noise she's made in minutes, and it slices through the tension like glass. She's not wrong, Meri adds, voice slow yet steady. At that point, Kody loses it. The water glasses rattle as his hands slam against the table. "I have exerted every effort to maintain the unity of this family." He roars, but there's a crack in his voice. Something more like desperation than rage is revealed in this fissure. Christine remains unflinching. When Robyn eventually raises her head, her voice, "Then why does it feel like you've already chosen who matters most?" she asks, her voice faltering, the words weighing more than anything she has ever said. Even the buzz of the refrigerator in the adjacent room seems to vanish. Although Kody's mouth is open, nothing is coming out. His entire body is tense, including his face. Christine gently backs away from the table amid the silence, the sound of her legs scraping the floor drawing everyone's attention. "You understand what the true issue is," she explains. "Standing at this moment, you don't remember what it's like to hear us. Come see us. You lose the family as soon as you lose that." She doesn't wait for an answer, whether you like it or not. As she walks away, Robyn's eyes follow her, a flickering sensation in them. Regret, fear, maybe both. Meri is still sitting there, staring at Kody as if to challenge him to pursue Christine. However, he doesn't even move an inch. At that time, you realize that the fight is far from over. This is just the opening shot. Christine does not go abruptly. The fact that she glides out somehow exacerbates the situation. No doors are being banged or shouted at. Only the sound of her firm steps fading away down the corridor. That subtle divergence is risky since it indicates that she isn't reacting when the situation demands it. She's made up her mind. There's a click as the front door closes. No one stirs for a lengthy few seconds. Meri speaks up, even though Robyn looks to want to say something. First, Meri exclaims, "You didn't stop her," as she turns around. Kody's fists are clenched at his sides as he responds, "I guess that says it all." His voice rises once again as he shouts, "You think this is my fault?" Meri doesn't recoil. "You've been picking side for years, I believe." Finally, Christine realized that she would no longer comply. Robyn wriggles in her chair. "That's unfair," she starts. However, Kody abruptly cuts her off. "Don't begin. You've been fueling this story of abandoning people. Christine is now using it as well. Kody, she's leveraging what you're doing." With a voice colder than the December chill, Meri interrupts. "Not what I said. You yourself supplied the proof." Kody pushes away from the table. Even though he looks like he's about to shoot back, the chair is scraping the floor. He breathes erratically, the kind that shows he's having trouble keeping stuff inside. Without saying another word, he rushes to the door. Word. On the front walkway, he is seen by the camera catching up Christine outdoors. Under his boots, the snow fractures. We haven't heard his voice in months, and suddenly it's low and almost frantic. "Don't do this, Christine," he says, obstructing her way. She stops, staring into his eyes. "I'm already doing this, and you would have acted accordingly before tonight, if you truly wanted me to stay." Kody's mouth drops and then shuts. He looks at her face as though it holds the answer. However, Christine has a calm, unapproachable, determined, and deadpan countenance. She says, "Goodbye, Kody." Quite frankly, Meri remains seated at the table, calm as though she had been anticipating this the entire time. Then she walks past him, boots crunching until the sound disappears into the dark. Back inside, Robyn is pacing now, chewing on her lip. Looking toward the door, she mutters something under her breath that is just loud enough for the camera to record. The first one was this one. For a moment, the TV screen goes dark. Second, but you realize that the consequences have barely just begun. The house has changed. Quiet, yet not calm. It's the heavy kind of silence, like the walls are holding their breath. With her sock-clad feet shuffling lightly on the wood floorboards, Robyn keeps pacing. She turns to face Meri, who is seated rigidly at the head of the table with her arms folded across her knees. Finally, Robyn stops pacing. She says, "You're just going to sit there," in a tone that is more abrasive than she intended to be. Meri tilts her head and narrows her gaze as she looks at her. "What do you want me to do? Chase after her? I'm not Christine's keeper." "That's not what I said," Robyn says out loud. However, her voice is beginning to sound panicked. She stops, bites her lip, and looks at the closed door. This isn't healthy for any of us. We can't." Meri sees it, cannot afford the amount of money she spends. Leaning forward, Robyn hesitates as though the words are stuck. Despite the fact that they are alone, she scans the room as though to see whether anybody else is paying attention. At last, Robyn says, "There are things you don't know." Her voice is hardly audible above a whisper. Meri raises her eyebrows when she says, "If Christine starts talking about money, about certain accounts." "Accounts?" Robyn nods quickly. Kody promised that it would never come up and that he would take care of it. However, we could lose more than just a family if she makes it public. A frown takes hold of Meri's face. "Only now are you telling me this? I never imagined it would get this far." With a look of genuine terror on her face, Robyn's voice breaks. "It's not just him, though. If Christine does go to court over it, the mirror will tug her along. We're all involved." Meri gently reclines, staring at her as if she were seeing her for the first time. "Robyn, how much are we discussing?" Robyn doesn't respond. She just turns her head away and swallows hard. There's a car engine outside. Comes alive with a roar. Both women look towards the window at the sounds. For no more than a second, the headlights flicker across the living room before going out. Meri's voice is low but icy as she rotates around. "You'd better hope Christine doesn't find out first if you've been hiding something." Robyn's face remains in focus. You can tell she already knows Christine has because of the way her eyes flare and her mouth clenches. The scene shifts to a suburban early evening eatery. Out of town. In the window, the neon, open 24 hours, sign gently vibrates. With her outerwear still dusted with snow, Christine sits in a rear booth. She keeps her eyes on the door while pounding her fingers frantically on the table. The doorbell rings. A well-dressed man in his late middle years walks in carrying a leather briefcase. He scans the room, spots her, and walks over. He whispers, "Christine," and swings into the seat across from her. She nods and says, "You told me it was urgent," slipping a chubby manila package to him from across the table. He opens the envelope and pulls out a sheet of papers, printouts, bank statements, and photocopies of checks, saying, "You're the only one I trust with this, but I need to know if what I discovered is what I believe it is." He pages through his eyes, blinking. He asks, "Where'd you find these?" Christine remains unflinching. Robyn's workspace. In a meeting last month, she left a drawer open. This wasn't what I was searching for, but the man leans back and shakes his head slowly when I see the figures. This isn't a few bucks missing, Christine. Large unreported transfers, some in personal accounts, some offshore, are what we're discussing. Christine's hands tighten on her coffee mug, which bears Kody's name. The man uses his nose to exhale. Although they don't directly relate to him, there are motifs, initials, and signatures, and he leaves the sensing up in the air if the court receives these. Christine speaks softly as she leans forward. "I don't care about the court at the moment. I want the truth to be known. People must see what has been going on. While the rest of us were told to tighten our belts, the money was flowing under the table, along with the lies and favoritism." The man looks at her intently for a long time. "There's no going back, Christine, once you make this public. In addition to ruining him, it might put you through hell." Christine's eyes are burning, yet her face is hard. Hell is already where I am. It's just turning on the light. The lens focuses on the pile of documents. Between them are numbers, names, transaction dates, and the faint but readable scribbling of a signature that exactly like Kody's handwriting in the lower corner of one statement. The diner's neon sign flashes outside. Through the glass, we can see a black SUV sitting in the parking lot, idling. It has someone watching. The black SUV is shown in the cut. Raindrops splatter the windscreen, mirroring the neon sign of the diner's crimson gleam. Inside, a single occupant wears a black baseball cap with the brim lowered while seated at the wheel. Their face is somewhat illuminated by the light from a phone screen, making it obvious that it's not Kody, but rather someone Christine wouldn't expect. A private detective. The phone is held up to his ear. "Yes," he talks quietly. "She is not alone here. The man took something from her. It looks like paperwork." A brief silence. It's Kody's voice on the phone, muted but unidentifiable. "Tell them," says Kody. "Whatever time it gets, I don't care. I'm curious as to just where she's directing those docs." The detective smiles, and the phone goes silent for a second as she tries to shake me. The voice then comes back. "I understand." She refuses. The SUV's engine roars to life. The investigator watches from the other side of the windscreen as Christine slides out of booth, shakes hands with her contact, and puts the manila envelope back in her bag. She leaves into the night as the diner doorbell rings. She drags her. "To prevent the wind, pull your coat closer." She is unaware of the automobile that emerges from the shadows behind her. Cut to the interior of Christine's automobile, where she turns on a rearview mirror, starts the motor, and drives away. The SUV follows every turn, 2 vehicle lengths behind. In the SUV, the investigator snaps pictures. The rain muffled the sound of the camera clicking. His dash recorder's red digits tick upward with each click. Then Christine slams on the brakes and her tail lights up. Suspicion grows when she examines herself in the mirror. Within the SUV, she turns sharply into an empty parking lot, and the investigator complains, "Oh, Christine doesn't turn into her driveway." Under a shaky street lamp, her automobile comes to a stop. She holds off. Beyond the lot, the SUV keeps going, but Christine is already on the phone, making a call. She has a tight voice. "It's me. I believe someone is following me." The investigator's phone rings as they return to the SUV. The name Kody appears on the screen. Did you lose her? Kody's voice is furious and clipped. No, the detective responds with a feeble smile. She basically thought she lost me because of me. Another dark car now sits observing at a sharp angle, and he sees a glimpse of himself in the side mirror. And it's clear at that moment that more than one person is following Christine. She is about to fall into a trap. For 20 more minutes, Christine drives. The wind was rattling the corners of the old roads as the storm grew worse. She is grasping the steering wheel with white knuckles. Every now and then, her gaze flickers to the rear view mirror. Now it's just blackness and rain. She lets out a slow breath. All right, she tells herself. At last, she turns onto a narrow dirt road that isn't visible on GPS maps. A small cabin sits at the far end, its shutters drawn and its lights off. Only 2 people are aware of the safe place. She grabs a manila envelope, switches off the engine, and runs to porch. Now the rain is pelting down, hammering the tin roof above. She searches for the keys in her backpack. Her fingers trembled. It is cold inside the cabin, and the wood stove's fading embers provide the only illumination. Christine takes a deep breath, shrugs out her coat, and puts her bag onto the table. A tiny squeak comes from the hall when she kneels down to add fuel to the stove. She becomes motionless. She slowly stands up, her eyes narrowing in response to the noise. Hi there. Quiet. Her sneakers creak as she steps forward cautiously. She grabs her phone from the worn wooden floor and opens the torch application. The ray pierces the hallway's shadows. The bedroom door is slightly ajar. She is aware that the last time she was here, she left it closed. She gasps as she carefully presses it open. Robyn sits still in a wooden chair in the dark. Her eyes are hazy but focus on Christine, and her hair is soaked. She doesn't blink. Why are you here? Christine's tone is defensive and abrasive. Robyn says nothing. She merely tilts her head slightly, her gaze straying to the manila packet that Christine is holding. Hands. Finally, Robyn replies, you shouldn't have taken those, in a quiet, flat voice. You have no idea what they contain or what they mean. Christine steps back, her hand tightening around Robyn's arm. When I come clean, everyone will know as much as I do. The smallest smile twitches Robyn's lips. Do you believe this is about me or about you? No, this is far bigger, Christine. And you will ruin the entire home on all of us if you open that letter, not just Kody. Christine takes a moment a second, and as she hesitates, a floorboard behind her cacks. But it's too late when she turns. The screen turns black as a shadow swiftly emerges from the corner. Christine opens her eyes. The coppery taste of dread and adrenaline is still stinging on her lips, and her head is pounding. She is lying on a cold concrete floor, with the faint sound of a generator in the background. The smell of damp earth and petrol fills the air. Squinting against the dim, fading light of single overhead, she tries to sit up. Light bulb, the cabin is not this. She appears to be in an old storage shed that hasn't been used for many years. A hefty chain dangles in the entryway, and rust stains drip down the corrugated walls. Her bag is gone. There is no manila envelope. A single piece of folded paper lies on the ground in front of her. After pausing, she picks it up. The handwriting is sharp and tight. Take a single step away. If you stay out of this, you will survive. If you continue, you'll regret it. Just a symbol, a vague one, and no signature. Illustration of the head of a wolf. Christine feels her heart racing. That's a symbol she knows. Years ago, when Kody ran consultancy transactions that no one was ever meant to ask about, she recalls seeing it on the bottom corner of his old business cards. Her head is jerked toward the back corner by a sound. There was a gentle scuffle, like cloth being pulled by metal. Her voice reverberates off the metal chamber as she asks, "Who's there?" Nothing. She approaches the sound with caution and nearly tumbles over something. The digital recorder is small and black. After 2 flashes, the red light turns on. The static makes Kody's voice throb. You're already in over your head, Christine, if you're paying attention. You believe you are in command? You're not. Yes, I am. Her heart quickens. She turns in search of a way out. However, The door's chain rattles violently before she can move again. It is being opened from the outside by someone. The lock is released. The door opens just 1 inch, yet that's all that's needed to. Let the room be sliced by a dazzling burst of light. Someone intervenes, but the flash hides their face. Behind them, the door thumbs closed. As the stranger approaches her slowly and purposefully, the light bulb overhead bobs, creating jerky shadows on the walls. The cold metal against Christine's back. Her own quick, hard breathing. She tries to sound powerful as she demands, "Who are you?" But her voice shakes, revealing who she is. Just outside the light's reach, the figure pauses. For starters, heart-pounding moment, followed by a quiet, distinct laugh. Although it is Meri, this is not the Meri of tense grins and family dinners. Her hair looks unkempt and damp. She's wearing black. Her eyes are insane, and she's more dressed up than she's ever been for a reunion. What on earth is going on, Meri? Christine yells as dread and uncertainty clash. Meri leans in, her mouth twisted into the tiniest smile. That mail was not for you to open. You have no idea what's inside. You believe. Is it only about Kody? Christine takes a deep breath. I'm not going to let it go because it's about Kody. When Meri eventually moves forward into the light, Christine sees that her hands are gloved and that there's a tiny metallic object glinting between them. "Hear me out," Meri says. Her tone was urgent and low. "We're all connected in ways you can't possibly fathom thanks to that envelope. Not only are you dragging him down if it leaks, but you're also bringing me, Robyn, Janelle, the rest of us, and the people who will follow. You." Her eyes narrow as she stops. "Until you leave, that won't stop." Christine gives a head shake. "You're standing up for him." "No," Meri lashes out, her voice sharp enough to pierce. "You ought to be defending yourself, just as I am." Meri throws a metal object to the ground before Christine can say anything. A little key rings off the concrete. Meri adds, "That'll let you out," and she starts to go to the door. "You'll burn all the copies, forget this ever happened, and leave the state tonight. Though, if you're smart." She is called after by Meri Christine. "Why? Why now?" Meri pauses, her hand resting on the latch of the door. She adds softly, "The wolf's awake now. And once it begins hunting, it doesn't stop." She looks back over her shoulder, her face unreadable. She glides out into the dazzling light as the door opens. Christine was left alone with the key and a ton of questions as the chain thudded shut behind her. Christine encircles the key with her fingers, its jagged fangs penetrating her palm as though telling her that there isn't any time to waste. She takes 3 quick steps across the room, finds a padlock, and jams the key in. With a reluctant click, it swings open. The chain falls to the ground. The fierce late afternoon sun blinds her as she pushes the door open. The air is thick and dry, with a slight fuel odor coming from a distant highway. Her heart sinks. There is no one in the storage yard. Out into the distance, one row after another of identical rust-cold units. There, silent witnesses refuse to testify as metal doors close tightly. Christine slowly comes out, and I look around for movement. No automobile, Meri. It's too still. She listens intently for the slightest sound as she sprints down the row, the gravel crunching beneath her feet. Each shadow appears to come to life. She hears it halfway to the gate, the quiet roar of a motor. Christine stops moving. The highway isn't the source. From behind her, that is, she spins around. At the back of the row, a black SUV slowly comes into view, traveling on purpose. The windows are so darkly tinted that they act as a mirror, reflecting the sunshine. Her heart skips a beat. She turns and leaves. Her footsteps are muted by the rumble of the engine as it speeds up and the gravel gives underfoot. She moves toward the gate, which is a chain-link fence with razor wire that curls along the top. The keypad is flashing red, and the gate is locked. "No, no, no," she yells, frantically hitting the keys. The SUV accelerates. Christine's eyes shift sideways. There's not wide enough to fit into the little, cramped area between 2 flats. She rushes towards it, forcing herself through into the shadowy area while scraping the corrugated metal on her shoulder. The SUV shatters easily. Doors close. On gravel, heavy tread crunches. Low male, 2 men close. She hears the threat in the words, but she is unable to understand them. Breathing shallowly, she presses herself against the chilly wall. Her ribs were being pounded by her heart. The doorway is crossed by a shadow. One of the men pauses, looks around, and for Christine is aware that he is looking directly at her during one awful, sick moment. In the silence, the sound of the man's boots crunching on gravel resembles gunshots as he advances. With an infinite line of metal walls converging on her and no way out, Christine's eyes dart left and then right. He wears a baseball cap low over his face, a black jacket, and tall, broad shoulders. He's holding something at his hip with his gloved hand, a radio and a pistol. From the other side of the SUV, the second man's voice snarls. You see her. No response from the tall one. He approaches her with another hesitant step. Christine's heart pounding. If she can reach there, she'll have just one chance to hide behind the battered trash, and she sees in the corner of the little space. The man's head tilts as though he's waiting for her to breathe. Christine leaps ahead, squirming to the sharp edge of a metal sheet as pain tears along her arm. At the rear of the flats, she darts into the unprotected strip and flees. Hey, shouts the man. She hears footsteps behind her. The second man comes up behind, gaining quickly as their heavy boots stomp together. In an effort to shake them, Christine ducks back and forth between 2 more rows. Through gaps, she can see the SUV's driver holding out while the engine is still running. Even though her lungs are burning, she exerts more effort. She takes the same turn every time. Old numerals, rusty doors, and the bitter taste of oil and dust. Then she looks ahead and sees it. Bottom pried loose enough to slither beneath a twisted piece of fence. She crawls forward on her knees, her skin being torn apart by the stones. A hand catches her ankle halfway through. Christine gives a powerful kick. She loses her shoe. She pulls herself the last distance out as the man's grip loosens. She doesn't turn around, running barefoot on scorching tarmac. She avoids stacks of shipping pallets until the storage yard is just a faint outline in the distance. Not until she arrives to a pact. She stops, leans over, and labors her chest. The black SUV, meanwhile, was waiting still on the other side of the street, and the driver's window drops this time. As the tinted window steadily lowers until the driver's face is revealed, Christine's instinct takes precedence. Her blood is icy. It is Kody, but not the Kody she is accustomed to seeing in public. Containing his smile, the mastermind of his own tale, this Kody has a furious expression on his face, with his lips pursed and his eyes distracted. Into a tiny line. He doesn't blink. The SUV is in motion, the murmur of a low rumble amid the summer heat. Christine looks down the street as she takes a step back. Cars didn't know. The only places to hide are the dark shape of a pedestrian overpass, a boarded petrol station, and sections of cracked sidewalk. With his arms slouched over the window ledge, Kody leans forward. There is nowhere for a predator to go when he knows his victim. You believe you're smart? His voice reverberates across the street, low enough to break through the hum of traffic. Christine tightens her neck. She speaks in a steady tone. What are you looking for? He has a narrow smile. You are well aware of my desires. And this time, you're not going to leave. The passenger door opens. After adjusting his gloves, one of the men from the storage yard emerges. Christine's thoughts are racing. In the open, she can't outrun them. The flyover is her only option. She might lose them on the opposite side of the high stairs. She runs away. The man shouts. Kody abruptly turns the SUV into. The automobile whips around in pursuit, tires and gear screeching. Christine also rushes up the stairs. Her bare feet are raking the hard concrete at one point, but she doesn't slow down. She glances down in the middle of the flyover. Directly below her, the SUV has stopped. Kody comes out, tilting his head back to gaze at her. His voice echoes high. Christine, you're doing something wrong. She feels sick to her stomach because of the way he says it. It's a promise rather than a threat. She turns and bolts outside, onto the opposite side, into the maze of streets. She knows this isn't over, though even as she moves between them. This is only the beginning. Christine's chest burns with every breath, and her legs feel like lead. However, she pushes herself more into the community. She slips into a passageway dotted with strewn about skips and slanting fences. This place is too silent. A car door slams behind her. She stays low, dropping behind a skip. The crunch of footsteps on the gravel. Slowly, methodically then, a murmur. Christine. The voice causes her head to jerk in its direction. At the far end of the alley, a shadow changes. For a brief moment, panic flashes before the figure enters a ray of light. Janelle is here. Christine stumbles over to her. How did you? No time. Janelle interrupts. She grabs Christine by the arm and starts dragging her to a side gate. They are following you. Now we must move. Still attempting to process the shock of seeing her, Christine fights. Are you following me? How? Janelle holds off on responding until both of them are in a little garage. The door behind them slammed. She reaches inside her bag and takes out a little, flashing red metallic object. Christine feels sick to her stomach. Is it a GPS device? Janelle has a strained voice. It was lodged beneath the bumper of your vehicle. For weeks, Kody has been using it. Christine looks at it, her mind spinning. For what reason are you helping me? Janelle gives her a look in return. Because he is pursuing others in addition to you. Christine notices a slight hum coming from the corner. A laptop that has its lid open on a workstation screen that looks to contain scanned legal documents and bank statements. Her gaze is noticed by Janelle. It's risky to have evidence here, but it's enough to bury him. Christine approaches and looks through the files. When she recognizes names, her heartbeat quickens. Meri's, Robyn's, and hers are all connected to transactions. They never gave their approval. The garage trembles with a sudden rumble before she can say anything. The tiny window was illuminated by headlights. Janelle's expression becomes stern. They located us. The headlights outside move, gently moving across the garage window's narrow slit. Janelle and Christine both freeze. The metallic slam of a car door swinging open is interspersed with the constant roar of a revving engine against the floor. A distorted but distinct voice yells out, "You don't want to do this." Janelle, the blood in Christine freezes. With a single quick motion, the Janelle activates and turns off the garage light. The only light in the room now is from the laptop screen, which casts their features in. Ethereal blue, whispering, "Grab the hard drive." Janelle thrusts a black duffel bag at Christine. "It's crucial. We have nothing without it." The sound of boots crunching gravel intensifies, and Christine fumbles with the laptop's connector. The garage door was then sharply knocked. It's deliberate, slow, and foreboding. 10 seconds. The profound, serene darkness is broken by Kody's voice. "I'll open it for you, or you can open it." A glimpse of crawl space emerges behind rows of stacked paint when Janelle lifts a side cupboard. Cans. She spits, "Go." Despite her need to run, Christine keeps her eyes on the hard disk she is holding. The names, the documents, the evidence. Kody wins if they lose it now. Another knock on the door, more forceful this time. The hinges clatter. Christine sneaks into the crawl area and shoves the hard drive into her backpack. A crash erupts as Janelle slides a cabinet back into position. The quiet. Inward, the garage door buckles. As metal is forced upward to the little crack in the wood, it screams. Christine notices them. Both males have their faces obscured and are dressed in black jackets. One is holding a rifle, the other a crowbar. Kody follows them inside. Kay is walking into his own home. Look through everything he says. "I desire that drive, and they're here." Christine gasps for air. All the muscles are stiff. She's trapped in the dark, inches from being discovered, and the sound of heavy boots approaching. The turmoil in this family is far from ended. Smash like your hashtag Team Wives. Then, sign up for the upcoming explosive. Make a change and leave a remark below. Who do you predict to prevail? Remain undercover. I'll see you at the next scandal and stay inquisitive. Behind TLC, Kiss Mark.